Two. Yes, sir. Your balances. Check your balances. Check your balances. Yeah. And we live. And we covering the P. Diddy all day. You with me? Let's get it. Let's pop. Let's take it there. And you know where that's at, right? Let's go. You can Twitter with these. Little mama, you can Twitter with those. You can play with those little broke nigga right here from coast to coast. Shorty. And if you give me a toast, shorty, just remember we know that came through with that there amazing ego. It's the HGM Brando Knows Show. Every day, 9 to 12. Pick a 9 to 12. 9 in the morning to 12 in the afternoon. Or 9 at night to 12 in the morning. Pick it up. It's the Brando. Like, follow, share, subscribe to the channel so we can blow this thing up so I can take y'all to places where y'all never been before. You understand me? Because the major give back is crazy over here. So let's get it. And with that being said, now that y'all know that the HGM Brando knows, I could go ahead and start my show. Check it out.
Sunroof top, digging in the scene with the gangster lean and and we ain't coming down. See on my face that smile. See on my head that crown. I'm on top of the world, top of the town, baby.
I moved up the hood that had the church on the corner where I sit and talk shit all day cause I want it. And on top of that, wasn't none of y'all gonna do nothing but keep running your mouth and keep fronting. Go ahead and say something. I'll wait. I ain't gonna wait till late, cause in a minute I'm escape. Cause there is no debate. No, it's not an option. You gotta keep cock watch.
Sunroof top, digging in the scene with the gangster lean and we ain't coming down. See on my face that smile. See on my
difficulties when things first start emerging. Right about now, they showing up at the P. Diddy trial. Let's see what's going on right now. But we're going to be here all day, every day. Let's get into it. Free Puff.
Right? What are you thinking this morning?
What the L stand for? Loser? They piling in, y'all. Let's get it. Why they do that? We gonna go do this at the same time. We could do two things at the same time around these parts here, you know what I mean? I know people that can't, but we got those. Let's do it. Yes, sir. And we live. It's the Brando Knows Show. Let's get it. P. Diddy trial. From the beginning to the end. Follow me. Like the story. Subscribe to my channel. The HGM Brando Knows. Let's get it. I don't do too much talking on this show. Gonna realize that. Pop off. Sure. Because I be getting money, don't I? I spit it how I wanna, don't I? When I come through, don't show you love, don't cop smoke, cop drink, waters born, pussy pink, get it. Yeah, we're gonna do that live show right there a little later on, and after this situation with P. Diddy is done with for the day, won't go live. That song right there, I get money. Cause I be getting money, don't I? Yeah, I spin it how I wanna, don't I? Shorty, when I come through, I'ma show you love. I'ma cop the smoke, I'ma cop the blunt, the border's bombing. Let's get to the tongue, get it. Yeah. It's that Brando HGM knows. Let's go, pop. Okay. Mic check. 1, 2. Mic check. This is the P. Diddy trial jury selection. Don't worry, we ain't. We live. P. Diddy jury selection. Beginning of that trial, we're gonna be here from the beginning to the end. So if you want to know anything P. Diddy, follow, like, subscribe to the channel. You take me there, I'm gonna take you there. Or give back Central over here. Free custom designs. It starts at 9 o'clock. 9 o'clock. It's about to be about another 29 minutes. Court doors open. People start to pile in. I don't know. We're gonna check and see if P. Diddy gonna be in the building. Let's go. I mean, look that up and see what's going on here. Check it out. That those shows. AM of people. It's 9 o'clock. It's the brand new time.
I need to familiarize myself with the faces of the
Thursday accuses Christian King Combs.
Check this out, y'all. This is Diddy. This is my son, King Combs. And I've been watching my pop since I was a kid. And I'm proud of you, boy.
The courtroom in Los Angeles was absolutely stunned when the defense lawyer brought up claims about Christian Combs allegedly targeting minors at these so-called freak-offs. You could just feel the atmosphere in the room change instantly. It was thick with tension. Christian, looking completely drained, pushed back from the table and simply walked out as the cameras flashed. Just like that. No polite nods, no apologies. He practiced the yacht parties involved kids. It wasn't that Christian was running away from the court when he suddenly left. It was damage control that was the issue. Because once that lawyer suggested that minors were being brought to these events, the story became way more serious than any of the initial news reports.
Yeah, I ain't hear about that raid. I only heard about the, the LA and Miami raid. But you feel like the feds, they released that video over King Combs' comments.
Oh man, I've worked in law enforcement for 27 years, and I had the opportunity to see HIDA. It's a place, whereas they have the state, the feds, the NYPD, the Department of Corrections, and the state police. Yo, this place could be half of a basketball court. That's where they just got lines of computers with officers of all different people and officers just on the internet. Whoever's over that case, whoever's working that case, don't you know they saw that and took it to their boss?
Me and my dog and my son right here, firstborn was to me. Everyone wants to be on. Her name is Bailey. I think so. What's something? Get up. Who's your daddy? Shake it down. I know.
Hard is get him to call somebody. He like, it's too much work. Like, so happy birthday, Christian. Thank you everybody for coming and cheer. 27.
It's Sunday.
It's Sunday.
We don't got no job.
We don't got no job.
And we don't got nothing to do.
And we don't got nothing to do. How do you have to do that together?
His attorney produced audio recording transcripts to support the allegation. A young woman called Grace Omar Kate is shown in those videos. which were made by a producer in a makeshift yacht studio, turning down advances that she claims escalated into violence after she believes tequila shots were tampered with. In late December 2022, Grace was hired as a servant aboard the boat, Sean Diddy Combs. On a family vacation, she assumed she would be serving supper and drinks. Rather, she talks about constant partying, a cast of suspected sex workers who came and went, and concoctions that made some pass out after only one drink.
Now a son of embattled music mogul Sean Diddy Combs has been accused of sexual assault. A lawsuit filed in LA Superior Court on Thursday accuses Christian King Combs of sexually assaulting and possibly drugging a woman in December 2022. The woman says it happened while she was working on a yacht that Diddy had chartered. This comes just over a week after homes owned by Diddy were raided in LA and Miami as part of a federal human trafficking investigation. Neither the attorneys for Combs or Diddy have commented on the new legal complaint.
In a new lawsuit, Sean Diddy Combs' second son, Christian Combs, is accused of sexually assaulting a crew member working on a super yacht. That suit was filed here in Los Angeles. Attorneys representing former yacht stewardess Grace O'Markey say she was sexually assaulted on board a yacht when she was 25 years old in December of 2022 by Diddy's son, rapper Christian Combs. They say his dad, Sean Combs, leased the yacht and had full control of its staff and the premises. O'Markey's lawyers say Combs turned what was sold as a wholesome family excursion into a hedonistic environment. They stated, quote, defendant Sean Combs fostered and encouraged an environment of debauchery. There was always a party atmosphere filled with suspected sex workers, suspected laced alcohol, violence, and sheer disrespect of women and the yacht's crew. The lawsuit also contains photos of bruises that O'Markey's lawyers say she suffered when Christian Combs violently grabbed her and attempted to force her to perform a sex act. They also included a transcript of an audio recording, which they say captures O'Markey being forced to consume suspected lace shots of tequila.
The carefree clip comes just days after a yacht steward filed a lawsuit against Christian, alleging he sexually assaulted her in December 2022.
Victim in the case has produced audio recordings that allegedly shows forcing himself upon her and that he wouldn't take no for an answer.
The woman says it all happened during what was supposed to be a wholesome family excursion with Christian and his father.
Check this out, y'all. This is Diddy. This is my son, King Combs. And I've been watching my pops since I was a kid. And I'm proud of you, boy.
She says Diddy was the one chartering the yacht for the trip.
This lawsuit is bad for Diddy. He may be able to get out of it, but the optics are terrible when he's already facing a criminal investigation. This may be the nail in the coffin.
She claims that Christian was quite drunk when he arrived, forced her to get tequila shots, and then proceeded to grope her chest, legs, and worse. She resisted him and scurried away, even attempting to force oral sex, only to have him find her in the sleeping room that had been converted into a movie theater, shut the entrance, and attack once more before someone stepped in. According to her complaint, the emotional repercussions were severe. Seizures, eating disorders, panic attacks, and suicide thoughts ensued. She sued both Combs men for sexual assault, harassment, emotional distress, and premises responsibility. And the court complaint included audio recordings and pictures of the marks on her arm.
Focusing on Christian Combs. Markey says that Christian Combs had been staying at a villa on the shore, but that he would come onto the yacht in the evening to party. And on December 28, 2022, Christian reportedly arrived very intoxicated and then proceeded to pressure Markey to take shots of tequila. She did. Christian allegedly tried to get her to drink more in the yacht's makeshift studio. Markey alleges that Christian kissed her neck, kissed her face, as he groped her legs, breasts, and private areas. Markey reportedly told Christian, quote, "Excuse me, you don't touch my legs like that. I'll move my legs where I want to. If I want to do this, then I will. You don't touch my legs like that." Markey then says that she told Christian she couldn't stay with him unless it was approved by a supervisor, all of whom she knew would be asleep at the time. So this was a way for her to get out of the situation. She claims that Christian said, "Who can I talk to? I'm going to say I requested you right now." Markey then says she responded with, quote, "Well, you can take your hand off my aunts for the first thing." Markey says this is what happened next. She says she tried to go back to work, but Christian ends up finding her and wants her to find him a place to sleep for the night in the yacht. So she takes him to the cinema room of the yacht. And that is when she claims Christian stopped her from leaving, groped her, took off all of his clothes, and tried to force her to perform oral sex on him. Now, she says she was allegedly able to fight him off. Someone walks into the room, and then she was able to leave.
And she said when she reported this to the captain, according to her, captain berates her. And she alleges that the captain may have even been paid off by Sean Combs to keep quiet about what happened. And I will tell you what's really interesting about this complaint. Embedded in the complaint are photographs that purport to be Omarki's arms with bruises on them. And that is really interesting. You don't usually see that in a complaint like this. All right, so I want to bring on right now criminal defense attorney Mauricio Padilla, friend of the show. He's represented some very high-profile defendants in high-profile cases. Good to see you once again. So I don't think we've had a chance to talk about this lawsuit. And now that the news is reporting that Christian has been served with papers here, why is that significant?
Well, it's significant because anytime that they have the opportunity to continue to remind the public of the malfeasance of Diddy, of Diddy's son, of anything related to sexually inappropriate behavior, sexual assault, it helps. It helps the government continue to, lay out the narrative of how bad Diddy was, how bad Diddy's son was. So I think it's consistent with, what they've been doing, putting it out there and really destroying his character. I'm not saying that he didn't do anything to deserve it. I'm saying it's consistent with what they're doing, whether it's the government or the lawyers that are suing him civilly.
Tyrone Blackburn, Grace's lawyer, wasted no time in court. He described the audio recordings in detail. He described to jurors how GHB and other date rape medications were used to lace cocktails. He made a suggestion that there were additional recordings, tapes he would struggle to play. He then revealed something that nobody had anticipated. The Combs siblings had a history of helping to participate in these freak-offs involving children. Aaron Dyer, his attorney, later referred to Blackburn's lawsuit as lurid and without merit, pledging to have what he called concocted lies dismissed. However, there is ample documentation of each of these acts.
To Miss Omarki, Jones taped this event with her. Yes, the lawsuit provides transcripts of audio recordings, and these audio recordings purportedly show, or you can hear, kissing sounds, her telling Combs not to touch her, her allegedly asking about whether she was drugged. Now, we haven't heard these tapes here on Law and Crime yet, but if they are what they purport to be, that is a huge piece of evidence. And remember, when we're talking a civil case, when we're talking lawsuits, the burden of proof is much lower than a criminal case. It's just preponderance of the evidence, more likely than not that this happened. So the civil suit accuses Christian of assault, battery, sexual assault, and intentional infliction of emotional distress. They're a big part of this lawsuit. She goes into the mental anguish that she has gone through, the emotional harm that she has suffered as a result of that. It's important in order to prove.
In his lengthy lawsuit, Lil Rod straight name drops Justin Combs, describing him as someone who solicits prostitutes, underage girls, and sex workers. There's actually a picture of Justin Combs with an allegedly underage girl shown in the lawsuit. Now, in this specific instance, Lil Rod alleges at least one underage girl came to Diddy's home for a listening party. A sex worker was also apparently solicited, and a freak-off ensued. As an aside, this is the same night that Lil Rod alleges Diddy forced him to take a laced shot. He started to feel lightheaded and then woke up at 4 o'clock in the morning, naked next to a sex worker. It's important to note Justin Combs is listed as a defendant on this case because, according to Lil Rod, he facilitated Diddy's alleged RICO enterprise and at times participated.
I think that if we're talking about additional charges and additional defendants, those are probably two of the more likely. And Christian, of course, was the subject of a civil lawsuit where there was a sexual assault allegation naming him directly. So I think if we're going to cast a bit of a wider net, people are talking about family members, other celebrities, maybe some employees like Christina Forum, but I think the most likely would be those two sons.
Why do you think it's the most likely about those two? Just because of the recordings, the allegations against him? What are you thinking?
I think so. I think obviously they're just civil allegations and those cases are going to be put on hold while the criminal case plays out. But, there is some smoke there. And obviously, there's a presumption of innocence and there's a lower standard in the civil case. But you have someone who's been named directly as someone who participated in a sexual assault, and everything else has been rumors and speculation. But here you at least have one verified complaint.
What were these freak-offs then? These were hardly backyard cookouts, according to the prosecution. Diddy organized the sex shows, which were arranged and supported by his own children. Freak-offs are defined in the Manhattan indictment as carefully orchestrated shows in which attendees, including some minors, were coerced into engaging in drug-fueled sexual behaviors as the cameras rolled. Both Combs siblings are named in the lawsuit as more than merely onlookers. They allegedly distributed money, filled the locations with supplies, assisted in recruiting young girls, and even filmed the interactions with their father.
I believe it was Justin, Diddy, and G walked into the bathroom. Gunshots rang out. Little Rod woke up so scared. Justin and Diddy left. Little Rod went in the bathroom, saw G out all over the place, literally called the ambulance, carried him out. It was carnage and everything, put him in the ambulance. The police showed up. Little Rod cited that in his lawsuit, and then they asked for the LAPD's report. The LAPD just released an 18-page report with no mention of any carnage or anyone that actually got shot.
There's also allegations that he actually partook in these freak-offs and potentially drugged women. This is something Lil Rod is saying. How would the feds go about proving something like that? I know that's the pattern we've seen across a lot of these civil suits, that women allege Diddy, for instance, drugged them. But now Lil Rod's also pointing the finger at Justin Combs, saying he drugged some of these women. How would the feds then go to look further into that?
Yeah, Lil Rod's lawsuit is interesting in that there are many defendants. We talked about Christina Horam, right? Some of the allegations that came out in Lil Rod's lawsuit was Christina, of course, being Combs' right-hand woman, she allegedly had the fanny pack with the drugs that were provided to the sex workers, or that there are the allegations directly against Justin as well. So whenever you're proving something like this, obviously, you're going to rely on the testimony of witnesses. You know, it could be an independent witness, because the sex workers, even though they're participants in a sex act, they won't necessarily be charged, or I don't think they're going to be defendants in the lawsuit if the allegation is that they were forced to perform these sex acts and it wasn't just a commercial trend.
Christian's case is presented against a somber backdrop by those charges. A Manhattan grand jury indicted Diddy on charges of trafficking, racketeering, and other offenses on September 16, 2024. According to the prosecution, he used money and other drugs to coerce women, some as young as 9, into having freak-offs with male sex workers, recorded everything, and used cash and other narcotics to secure compliance. They claim that his empire included accusations of kidnapping, bribery, and arson, but it all depended on sexual behaviors during these gatherings.
It was at I believe to be one of P. Diddy's freak-offs.
Now, singer-songwriter Tania Wallace told TMZ's Harvey Levin for the Tubi special, The Downfall of Diddy, Inside the Freak-Offs, she believes she witnessed underage victims at one of Diddy's 2018 parties.
I'm looking like, are those midgets? Because it's people over them. Like, it's people trying to hide what they're doing.
Adults who are little people, or are you talking about minors?
Am I going to get in trouble? I don't want to say I witnessed any of that crazy stuff, but we all have common sense. Little people that's not supposed to be there.
You're talking about underage people.
It's a shame.
Is this woman, Tania, is she really saying that there were minors involved in these freak-offs?
That is exactly what she's saying, Billy.
Yeah, the fact, Jake, that the government in this indictment presented evidence alleging that Sean Combs was running a criminal enterprise, and they actually named it in the indictment, the Combs Enterprise. And they said that this enterprise consisted of him as the alleged leader, his employees, assistants, staff, allegedly, that were able to procure women and alleged male sex workers to engage in performances for his own sexual gratification. Where it differs from a mob indictment, it has all the elements of putting together this racketeering allegation of all these moving pieces using resources from his businesses. But the fact that this is about an allegation of sexual gratification being accomplished by alleged human trafficking, it's one of the most unique indictments I've ever seen in this area, in the area of sex crime.
First of all, he is not steering away from the idea of the freak-offs. They seem to be saying, yeah, these were called freak-offs. We're going to call them freak-offs, but they're not illegal.
Yeah.
Well, one of the charges he faces is transportation to engage in prostitution. If he's saying, yeah, I hired sex workers, but if he's transporting them and paying for them, I feel like it's going to be very, very difficult to argue he's not guilty of that charge. We talked last time about how he tried to get it dismissed from the case, basically saying it's a racist charge, but it's going in.
Yeah, so Diddy just walked into the courtroom like he normally does. He hugged all of his attorneys. He, dabbed up Mark Agnifilo. I think he was kind of searching in the gallery to see if he had family there, because when court had first started, nobody was there from his family. And I think he kind of looks forward, and I'm just speculating here. Obviously, I'm not in his mind, but I think he looks for people, especially his mom, to be inside that courtroom in the gallery. But today it was just Justin Combs all by himself. I think in the moment when he had first walked into the courtroom, it was a little bit after it had started, he kind of was like clearing his throat. I don't know if it was because he actually had to clear his throat or if it was to get his father's attention, just to let him know that he is.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, but Diddy did turn around a couple of times. I don't know if it was to see if more of his family came in or to see, just to kind of like check in with Justin during that. But he seems to always kind of be more excited to see his family inside that.
Homeland Security officers conducted raids on Diddy's residences in New York, Miami, and Los Angeles in March 2025. They confiscated a pile of lubricant party records, firearms, and devices. Christian was temporarily held for interrogation, but no charges were brought. During the Miami raid, Christian was cuffed in his father's house in Los Angeles, but he managed to escape unharmed. Diddy's team referred to it as an ambush and stated that both men will forcefully defend themselves against unfounded charges. The optics were horrible, though. The boy is facing a horrific civil suit, and the father is facing a federal indictment.
The father of 7 also broke his silence on social media, posting these photos of his 17-month-old daughter with the caption, quote, "Happy Easter from baby love." Diddy's 26-year-old son, Christian, who was handcuffed and questioned during the LA raid, also posted for the first time. He says, quote, "Stop with the caps," which is slang for love.
There's a whole public relations side of this. Diddy is going to want to put up a front of an innocent person. And sometimes the best defense is a good offense. Right now, investigators are going through the evidence that they seize. What they're really looking for are videos of the alleged sexual abuse. If prosecutors have that information, we're talking about days or weeks before Diddy is charged. He may go to prison for the rest of his life.
Inside the home, federal agents can be seen using a drone. Then the video shows Diddy's son Christian with his hands in the air, pressed against the wall, then handcuffed. Diddy's son Justin then appears with his hands on his head. The agents then appear to take him down a hallway. The release clip ends with what appears to be another man who is dragged out of the home and on the driveway by agents. Photos of the aftermath show Diddy's sons Christian and Justin on the lawn of the LA home while agents seemingly continued their search. Justin Combs' mom released a statement along with the video slamming the federal agents for the way they handled the raid. The statement reads, quote, "The overzealous and overtly militarized force used against my sons Justin and Christian is deplorable. If these were the sons of a non-Black celebrity, they would have not been handled with the same aggression. The attempt to humiliate and terrorize these innocent young Black men is despicable."
I'm not surprised she posted it. She has to, they have to control the narrative. And do their best to control the narrative, and frankly, that's her right. If she has that data, that to do what she wants. I don't think it helped the situation. I don't think it helped her son or Sean Diddy. I think it may have just you still have human beings you're dealing with on both sides of the table, and basically kind of amping this up. I don't think that solves anything for anybody. Also, it's a matter of, is the public going to be sympathetic to a billionaire and, his problems and his issues? This isn't something that happened, in an unfortunate instance in a lower socioeconomic area of Los Angeles or New York or Cleveland. This is in Hollywood with a $50 million mansion with luxury cars out front. And dealing with a billionaire, and then they had another one in Miami. I don't think the American people or the public are like having a whole lot of sympathy for anybody right now.
Christian was pursuing a career independent of his father. In 2022, his single "Cannot Stop, Will Not Stop" peaked at #1 on the R&B charts, and he introduced the younger luxury sneaker brand. He was genuinely ambitious. However, Christian Combs is now associated with scandal in every headline. Social media users flocked to his posts, with some criticizing him and others supporting him. Some insisted that he respond to the rumors on television. He remained mute and adhered to what his lawyer had said. But in the court of public opinion, silence following a walkout says a lot.
Boy, I was upgraded from my last one. Going on Risha, Keisha, and Joy. And now sure you're getting the and Joy. Shut the mic. I was locked 23 M.
We're not getting practice shots. He thought just sleep. Practice shots, because we got the legend in the building. And y'all know what it is. And it's Christian Combs, King, the one and only.
Yes, sir.
I'm gonna start. I'm gonna get right into it. Music. That's good.
Yeah, I got my new music, Legacy, dropping. It's about to be crazy.
When is dropping? Let us know. Let us know some exclusive.
15th October.
All right.
When you see this, you know it might be out.
Nah, you gonna see it tomorrow. He working hard. This dropping tomorrow.
It ain't Cardi's dropping soon. It's gonna be a digital.
But I keep it real. Ever since we've been in LA like 4 years, we've been running to you, like hearing that, see you grow, like from developing like artists to like just being cool. At first we met you, it was like we just knew you was cool. Then start dropping music.
What role do you think it's possible Christian Combs could play in his father's criminal case?
The government loves superseding indictments. The government loves indicting your relatives. Why? Nothing is worse. Right now, Diddy's sitting in a jail cell. What could be worse? The thought of your son also sitting in a jail cell. So if they can prove it and they have him committing crimes and they can involve him in a superseding indictment, I don't see why they wouldn't. They do it all the time in narco cases and in other cases that I've worked on. And it seems to me like Diddy wasn't or never created these broad defined lines between his children and the allegedly illegal acts that he was committing. So it's completely possible that they could get wrapped up in a superseding indictment.
A request to dismiss is the next step in Christian's civil struggle. According to Dyer, there are numerous flaws in Grace's lawsuit, including the absence of logs demonstrating the presence of children, metadata on the recordings, and evidence that the tequila shots were tampered with. Grace might never have her day in court if the judge rules in favor of Dyer. However, the discovery might compel both parties to produce emails, guest lists, and yacht manifests, and require witnesses to appear under oath if Blackburn persuades the judge that there is sufficient evidence. Years may pass throughout that process, and the public and media will continue to focus on Christian's courtroom exit.
For Abnormality Daily and consistent content, let's get straight into this video. If Christian Combs isn't working with Diddy on the side when it comes to violating BOP rules and contacting the sons, if Christian Combs isn't working with Kanye West, who's doing all of these crash outs and going to his house, accepting gifts from Kanye, if Christian Combs not trying to jump Ray J, or trying to put up these happy birthday messages and dead reality TV shows, this man is also now officially being served for significant allegations of SA on a boat on a yacht that he was.
In a statement to ET, Diddy and Christian's attorney said, "This complaint is filled with manufactured lies and irrelevant facts," adding, "We will be filing a motion to dismiss this outrageous claim." The new lawsuit comes as Diddy's former bodyguard, Gene Deal, spoke out on the Art of Dialogue YouTube channel, making new claims about Diddy's notoriously wild parties.
People know there's drugs, there's alcohol, there's loose women, there's loose men, all kind of crazy. I don't think it's only celebrities going to be shook. He had politicians in there. He had princes in there. He also had a couple of preachers.
The federal prosecution against Diddy is accelerating nationwide, with a trial scheduled for May 5th, 2025 in Manhattan. Jury selection is imminent. At least 5 accusers have already been lined up by prosecutors, including Cassie Ventura, who reached a settlement in 2023. Propensity witnesses, or victims who will testify about fleck-offs and other wrongdoing, are what they hope to utilize to demonstrate Diddy's pattern. Although it may not be as prominent in New York, Christian's courtroom drama in Los Angeles supports the prosecution's story of a history of abuse in the family. The battle is far from finished for Grace. She wants to be known for breaking the law, not simply for the money. Being a whistleblower can have deadly consequences, as her entire lawsuit against Christian Combs serves as a reminder.
A legal drama, once again facing Sean P. Diddy Combs, who's already the subject of a federal state criminal investigation. Just yesterday, Christian Combs, Diddy's 26-year-old son, was named in a new lawsuit alleging sexual assault by a woman working on a yacht in 2022. Sean Combs is being sued for premises liability as the person who chartered the yacht and for aiding and abetting his son in the alleged assault. Well, here's the deal. Right now, anything associated with P. Diddy is considered cancerous. He could be guilty of the allegations that have been levied against him. His son could be guilty of the allegations that have been levied against him. But the reality is that Even if they're not guilty of such things, their name has been tainted severely. And usually something like this happens when you create enemies in the wrong places. Usually it's not just a byproduct of your act or your actions. There's something else that's going on here. But you've seen people get accused of things a lot of times. But the tsunami of things that are coming in the direction of P. Diddy and his family.
There are a lot of questions raised by this story. After that spectacular departure, can Christian clear his name? Will the specter of freak-offs ever leave him? What does it say about the privilege that allowed these events to take place if there were actually kids present? If you have been following this narrative, please subscribe and hit like for each new development. Leave a comment below with your opinions. Does Christian's walkout, in your opinion, demonstrate guilt or merely a son protecting his reputation? In any case, we will remain here, searching sealed tapes and court documents until the verdict is rendered. We appreciate your time and we'll see you in the upcoming update.
like and subscribe to the channel.
I love my life. I've had better results with the manual focus than with the autofocus. The autofocus tends to focus on things I don't want to focus on. Manual focus is like you're in kind of a well, yeah, there's a range line. Yeah, there's a range line. It's easy. It's much easier to do it. You don't shoot at 10 frames a second. You tend to focus on one shot is generally all you need, right?
LLO. There's always room for JELLO. What type of advertisements did Diddy have? Didn't he have the liquor and the alcohol? There's always room for Jello. Yeah, so this is what we're getting, folks. This is what we're getting here. Nothing spectacular, but it is a view outside the courthouse. Maybe somebody speaks, maybe they don't. Maybe we get an understanding of more. Maybe we don't. Maybe it just stays boring like this. We're not going to stay all day like this, but I do want to see, for a little bit what happens and who shows up, or if anyone out there makes a statement or talks at all. We are outside the courthouse. Jury selection underway. Sean P. Diddy Combs. Outside the courthouse. Oh, these SUVs are the ones that pique my interest. Look. Dun, dun, dun. What do we got? Dun, dun, dun. They're all out there like, who's showing up? Who's showing up? Oh, by the way, the temperature in New York weather. Let me see. New York weather. 62. 62 and weather forecast. Rain. Got rain today. Got a 50% chance of rain into this evening. More or less in the evening. Look, we got rain. Let me see. I don't see anybody there with an umbrella. Knicks hat. You got a Knicks hat. Rain looks like it's more to the east. Looks like it's raining in Massachusetts and New Hampshire. Sean P. Diddy Combs. Come on in, folks. Come on in. Look, see that guy there, he's been wandering around with his camera and everything like that. I'm wondering a little bit what that's about. As we wait and see, maybe his attorneys come out and make a statement. Maybe they're in there. Maybe this thing ends and there's a deal. Sometimes a jury selection, there's plea deals being made at the very, very last second, wheeling and dealing. Diddy could have came to his senses last night, sitting in his prison cell, and finally said, pull the trigger. I don't want to go through this. One, it's going to cost him a lot of money to take it to trial. That guy right there, he does a lot of streaming outside the courthouse. I've seen him at Luigi. I don't know what that guy's name was. Let's see. I could find him. I saw him outside Luigi Mangione. He's a YouTuber or a streamer at least. Let's see if I can find him. That guy that we just saw right there, tall guy. Might be out there, maybe not. Diddy trial kicks off today. Diddy on trial. P. Diddy Combs, bad boy records. Because he's a bad boy for life. People might be saying to Diddy, he ain't going nowhere. He ain't going nowhere. He's locked up for life because he's bad boy for life. He ain't going nowhere. He ain't going nowhere. Nah. I'm the definition of inmate. Blah, blah, blah. I'm the definition of inmate. I would even say that we ain't gone nowhere. Lyrics. I was like, yeah. Diddy. We ain't. Bad boy for life. He said, I'm the definition of half man, half drugs. Ask the clubs. That's what Diddy says. I'm the definition of half man, half drugs. Ask the clubs. Bad boy, that's what's up. Yeah. That life. Look what that life got you. We ain't going nowhere. We ain't. I hope YouTube doesn't catch me with a copyright for singing the song. He's the definition of half man, half drugs. Ask the clubs. Bad boy, that's what's up. After bucks, crews crushing after us. No games, we laughing much. Nothing but big things. Check this hit list. How we twist this. What's changed but the name? We still here. You rocking with the best. P. Diddy wearing an orange vest. Yeah, that's a song. You know, Diddy might be singing some here, I'll get it for you.
No.
Diddy might be humming some this one right here. Locked up, they won't let me out. I had a long day in court, stressed me out. Won't give me a bail, they can't get me out. Now I'm headed to the county, got a bid to do here. Gotta do a bid here. I'm living luxurious. I don't want to live here. The walls are gray, the clothes is orange, the phone is broke, the food is garbage. That's Diddy singing. I'm locked up, they won't let me out. That's the P. Diddy remix. Yeah, they got him locked up. They got Diddy locked up. They won't let him out. Diddy. Yo, bro. No, he's dangerous. I mean, the dude is like a mafia boss in the hip hop industry. I think people, I mean, we've heard the stories. You get Kim Porter, other rival rappers having their homes firebombed, their vehicles firebombed. I mean, the guy is a loose cannon. I mean, any normal person. I don't know if you watched the video, Cassie, what happened. That Cassie video years back, hotel, he's in a bathrobe. I mean, that was pretty bad, man. No man should ever do that to any female or even another person. What he did. I mean, it was just egregious and bad. And that's the behavior. That's the conduct that's going to be used against him. You're going to be using that against Diddy. It's coming into play. Everything's coming into play. Not going to be able to beat that with the feds, man. You're just not. Not going to be able to beat it at all. Now they shifted gears here. I wish they would actually put it back out on the streets to see who comes in and goes. Kind of blandish, but we're watching, we're seeing, we're talking. All I can say is you got to be a fool, a complete fool. You're a fool for what he did, but you got to be a fool to try to take this to trial. I understand people have rights, and people, Constitution says presumption of innocence and everything like that. Good luck with the federal government. Good luck trying to take them on. You think they play fair? They don't play fair. Everyone plays dirty. These people have crazy resources, power, influence. Feds wheeling and dealing. You'll be shocked over time of who testifies against Diddy, who got a subpoena that we don't know about. People are going to be coming in there testifying, probably his friends he thought were his friends. And he gets blindsided. I think, though, there's a witness list that he done his lawyers know who comes for him. He knows. He knows. Now, the question is Diddy working behind the scenes to try to
we just watching the live stream.
Off, intimidate them. You better not testify against me or your house is burnt down or something crazy.
Yeah.
or it's over for you. Jury selection begins. We are outside the federal courthouse, Manhattan, New York. Not much to see out here now, but we're talking. Let's keep the conversation going. Diddy. P. Diddy. It's getting litty with P. Diddy. Jury selection. Jury selection outside the courthouse. Anything else going on in the world? Tell me. Talk to me. What's going on? What's going on? Heard there was a mass shooting last night. That's a topic that we cover a lot. Glendale. Saw a bunch of police all over the place. What do we got? Had to sneeze. Excuse me. You're a pretty good rapper. Nah, I'm just reading off Genius. Genius.com has the lyrics of every single. No, I had the lyrics, or I had the Genius.com had the lyrics. B. Diddy sing. Prison Blues. Let's Johnny Cash. Here's Diddy. Yo, I hear the train is coming. It's rolling around the bend. And I ain't seen the sunshine since I don't know when. I'm stuck in Folsom Prison. Yo, and the time keeps dragging on. That's the Diddy remix. He's going to Folsom Prison. Diddy going to Folsom Prison. Well, we got another one. What do we got? Give me a song. Give me a prison song. Prison songs. I Googled prison songs. System of a Down. That's P. Diddy. You might turn heavy metal. They're trying to build a prison. They're trying to build a prison. You ever hear that System of the Down song? Prison song. Ah, they're trying to build a prison. Jailhouse Rock. What do we got? Jailhouse Rock. Jailhouse Rock. Got Jailhouse Rock. Now, I don't know this song. Elvis Presley. Yo. The warden threw a prison in the county jail. The prison band was there and they began to wail. The band was jumping and the joint began to swing. You should have heard those knocked out jailbirds sing. Let's rock. Everybody rock. Let's rock. Everybody rock. It's a whole jail cell block. We dancing to the Jailhouse Rock. I never even heard that song, so I'm sorry, folks. 1957, out of my era. I really don't know Elvis songs like that. Jailhouse Rock, prison songs. What do we got? Zach Williams, Chainbreaker, Sam Hunt, Locked Up. Folsom's Prison. Prison songs, hip hop. We're going to stay with hip hop. Hip hop prison songs. Between the Bars, the 20 greatest prison songs of all time. They list Johnny Cash. Folsom Prison Blues. There's P. Diddy. He's feeling the Folsom Prison Blues. Look at that. He's in orange. Dude, he looked like he aged significantly here, folks. That is a sketch from him of last week. We were covering that on Friday when he was in there. And, folks, that does not look like the Diddy that we are used to seeing with the parties and everything. This looks like a gray hair, older man. Beaten and broken. He earned it. He earned it. He earned it. I don't have any sympathy whatsoever. He earned it. He earned it. Unless you think this is a witch hunt, unless you think he's being railroaded, unless you think he's 100% innocent of these charges, I don't think so. I don't think so, folks. Bob Dylan, Hurricane. That's another prison song. Elvis Presley, Jailhouse Rock. The Clash, Jail Guitars, Doors. Some of these others. Sublime, Jailhouse, Soundgarden, Rusty Cage. Suicidal Tendencies, Institutionalized. Black Flag, Police Story. Nas, One Love. Is that a jail song? Oh, Snoop Dogg, Murder Was the Case That They Gave Me. Rico Was the Case That They Gave Me. I know that Snoop Dogg song, right? Murder Was the Case That They Gave Me. Rico Was the Case That They Gave Me. It's P. Diddy. Rico Was the Case That They Gave Me. Rico. Oh, you might hit me up with the Rico. There was a Meek Mill song called Rico and Drake. They might hit me up with the Rico. They might hit me up with the Rico. Rico. Or how about this? P. Diddy doing a little salsa. Rico. Suave. P. Diddy. Rico. Rico. Remember that song? Da 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 da. Rico. Suave. I have a little humor this morning, folks. Little humor. That's a funny song, Rico Suave. It's like an old song, like a Latin song. This guy, they bring out this dude with long hair and everything. He's like Rico Suave. Da 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 da. It's P. Diddy. Rico. What was the J-Lo Diddy song? Let me see. Diddy. Diddy song. R. Kelly, you'd be joining the footsteps of R. Kelly. Maybe. Maybe. R. Kelly. R. Kelly. Who gets out first? R. Kelly or Diddy? Doesn't R. Kelly have a 30-year prison sentence? By the way, looking at this article here about R. Kelly, he appealed it, and just the appeals court just the last month or 2 months ago affirmed his 30-year sex trafficking and RICO conviction was upheld by a federal appeals court that concluded the singer exploited his fame over a quarter century for SAing girls and young women, parallel to Diddy's behavior. Almost go side by side. They came up around the same time, right? R. Kelly and Diddy. They came up around the same time. How did it go well for R. Kelly? 30 years. So if R. Kelly's getting 30 years, we've discussed this before. As bad as R. Kelly's case was, Grandpa Diddy used to get freaky. That's what Leroy said. Grandpa Diddy. They were wild people. Back in 20, I mean, they're probably wild to this day, but 20 years ago, when they were all in their 20s, 30s, early 30s, 20s, bad, folks. But we discussed this with Diddy as far as, you know, I think his charges are much worse than R. Kelly. As bad as what R. Kelly did, it is bad what R. Kelly did. But Diddy's is much worse. I think not only with the egregious sex crimes that R. Kelly did and Diddy's accused of, Diddy elevates it to a whole other level of almost every single crime short of murder, and he probably done a murder or got his hands involved with some murders. So if R. Kelly's getting a 30-year sentence, what do you think the going rate for Diddy? What do you think? 40 years? 50 years? 50 years? 40 years? When I went to federal prison and I got 10 years, I got 120 months, followed by 5 years of supervised release, which actually ended up being a 15-year sentence for a non-violent white-collar crime. I went in there and I thought I had a lot, and I did. Instantly, I was surrounded by inmates that were in there for 30, 40, 50, 60, 70 years. And what's crazy is the inmates that I was surrounded by, you know, and I did fraud, computer hacking and bank fraud. Okay. Nonviolent white collar, still, you know, you're defrauding a bank that's insured by the FDIC. It's not my money. Okay. Profit for gain, hacking for profit. It's not. The ethics is you hack to exploit what's going on. You share what you've done. You don't profit off of it. And you try to help the people you hack into to plug up their loopholes, whatever like that. Well, I hacked for profit. Own up to it. 120 months in federal prison I got. But when I got there and being surrounded by other inmates that are sitting in federal prison for 20, 30, 40, 50 years for just a little bit of drugs, a handful of crack cocaine, a little bit, a little handful of drugs, particularly like crack cocaine, at the time was these crazy minimum mandatories. And there was people that done, you know, having drugs is bad. Don't get me wrong. And I believe drug dealers should be in prison. And these people were dealers. I mean, they were drug dealers, but they would actually literally get caught with just a bag of crack cocaine. And their sentences were crazy. Meanwhile, the feds were bringing in all these child porn dudes that had like millions of images of kids, victims, and they would get like 5 years. Get like a few years of time. Now they're getting a lot of time, but back then they were getting like 5 years. And that's what really set a lot of these inmates off on the chomos, because I mean, people with small amounts of drugs getting basically life in prison, and then you have these ones that victimize a bunch of children, and they're getting like 5 years at the time. My point is, you think you have it bad, and I thought I had it bad, and I thought it wasn't fair for me, and I went in there with like 10 years for a nonviolent crime. Are you kidding me? Thinking I would only get a year or two in prison, and I got totally blindsided. And that's usually what happens on the federal level. You get blindsided. You think you're going to maybe make off okay. And I'm telling you, when that judge puts that gavel down because of the PSI, and the PSI comes in and there's all these points and it enhances you all the way up the top and the end of the guidelines, judge is almost bound by him. They're not going to go lower than the guidelines unless you show some really compelling evidence, you know, diminished capacity, you cooperated, whatever. Low end of the totem pole of whatever, you know, the judges will go easy on some people, even though they're convicted of like RICO or things like that. If you're on the low end of the totem pole, because they read, the judges actually read the complaint and they understand the circumstances here. So when you got Diddy literally charged with the worst crimes and he's literally the ringleader of this operation, you don't think the judge is going to go soft on him? These judges aren't intimidated. They ain't getting bought off. The judges will do what the prosecutor asks for, though. Most of the time. Most of the time, it's all an agreement. But if that prosecutor, if he gets convicted, those numbers are put him up in so much high category, prosecutors has no choice but to say 40, 50 years life. And the judge is going to go with it. The judge is not going to go because he's P. Diddy, whatever like that. Judge is going to actually, I don't know if this judge would do it. The judge here has an interesting, what's it say? It's Subaharian. I never could say the judge's full name correctly. Maybe the judge goes easy on him. I don't know. Judges don't like it when people go to trial either. And the system is designed on a federal level. If you go to trial, you get penalized for going to trial, even though people have a right to go to trial. And every defendant shouldn't be penalized simply by going to trial. The federal system is designed, if you go to trial and you lose, you're going to get hammered. You're going to get hammered. The system, the federal system is designed where if you plead guilty, which most people do, you get points reduced for acceptance of responsibility. It's an incentive. So this guy is playing with like literally fire here. I mean, he knows what he did. He knows he did these things. He knows he's involved. And I don't think the feds are just pointing, pinning, just want to just target this guy and just to take him out. No, I mean, there's actual victims here. And the feds know that this guy is involved with no good. Might have had a Jekyll on Hyde type personality. Put on a persona as a successful businessman, whatever. I mean, we know the lifestyle he lived in. But all this could be a facade, and behind the scene, he could be some sort of mafia boss that actually organized hits on people and victimized young women. And the feds is like, enough is enough. He's not going to change his name. Maybe he's profiting off all of this at the time. I mean, the trafficking and all that, I mean, that's crazy. Forcing people to do things against their will is sick. You got to be held accountable for that. And the feds don't play with money or fame. They don't care. The feds have taken out the mafia. They've taken out drug kingpins. They've taken out the Hells Angels. They've taken out transnational gangs. They've taken out Bloods, Crips, GBs, gangs. They've taken out city drug rings, international cartel rings. They've taken out gunslingers, gun dealers. They've taken out everybody, the feds. They've taken out terrorists. And they're going to take out P. Diddy. They're not intimidated. What's somebody going to do? How's somebody going to retaliate against the feds? How are you going to retaliate against the feds? You're going to do some dumb Timothy McVeigh nonsense? What does that do? Nothing. Except give you the needle. He's cooked. He's done. I don't know. You disagree with me? What do you think? He has a standing chance? Does he have a chance to beat this? I don't think so, folks. And I'm only going by my own experience. The thing about it is the feds, like for me, yeah, I know there's probably some people wrongfully convicted that are sitting in prison for a crime they actually did not do. But for me, being in federal prison, now federal prison is a place where the turnover is a lot. And you go to a federal prison, and if you do get a high amount of federal prison time, over time, by design, they transfer you to another prison. It's very rare if you have a 10-year sentence or longer to stay in the same place the entire time. Your points drop over time because the shorter your sentence gets, your classification goes down if you stay out of trouble and everything, of course. But they also design it where in the federal prison system, most inmates, unless you're out of prison, you're working there or you're doing something they like you or whatever, most of the federal prisons turn you over to another prison after a few years. They don't like to keep people in the same prison extendedly, the same prison. So you go to multiple different prisons. In the course of my 120 months, I've been to 15 different federal prisons, 15 around the country, from Victorville, California to Coleman, Florida, to ADX Florence, Colorado, Leavenworth, Kansas, Butner, North Carolina, Williamsburg, South Carolina, Bennettsville, South Carolina, Beaumont, Texas, Springfield, Illinois, Lexington, Kentucky, Fort Dix, and the other ones, Coleman, Miami, FCI Miami. I like Miami, though. Miami was the best prison to be in because it's out there in the little rec yard is all like tropical and everything. It's actually nice. I actually like the Florida prisons, federal prisons, better than every place. Texarkana. So many of them. Oklahoma City, FDC Houston, FDC Philadelphia. I don't like the FDCs. They're high-rise buildings. But they transfer you to different prisons. They do it by design. They don't want you to get comfortable at the same location unless you can offer something like Unicor, the prison Unicor system. If you really have a skill or something like that, they might keep you there at that particular Unicor and you stay there, you do your time. They want to keep you within 500 miles, flight miles from your home. They don't honor that. A lot of times they send you far away from your home specifically to punish you, specifically to keep you away from your family, farther away. So you keep moving around. So the course of me in a 10-year span being in 15 different prisons and the turnover in the prisons because people are coming and going. It's not the same people you see. It's almost like an international space station and people coming and going.
Yo. Yo. So. You can hear me? Hold on. You can hear me?
I said, yeah, nigga, you can hear me?
Yeah. He's washing dishes or something, man. It's just dumb loud. I'm live, my man.
Oh, yeah. Who, you?
Yeah, you gotta stay muted, man. I'm live.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Hold on.
So what's up, man? What you niggas talking about, man?
Well, you know, P. Diddy trial jury selection starts today, so they getting that thing popping. Right now, ain't too much about nothing going on. Really just seeing who coming and going in the court right now. And yeah, that's about it. I wanted to put us P. Diddy something. Let me see. Check it out. Hold on. Wait a minute. Yo, these visuals is tough right here. This is hard. Hold on. Yeah. So, yeah. See that right there, man. We can't have that. Man. It's going on my recording, man. That's not a no. That's a no. All right, what we got here? Okay, let's see. Diddy and his peoples. Yeah.
Every walk through a property frozen in time, with grotesque remnants of the freak-offs visible everywhere. One particularly chilling discovery was a red room, an entire chamber draped in crimson fabrics, filled with bizarre circular furniture arrangements and lacking any natural light. The YouTuber described the scene as feeling satanic, saying, "I literally thought I was entering a dungeon." Viewers could see for themselves the level of depravity that had once filled those walls. R. Kelly's estranged son speaks out, further exposing the dark network of abuse. A man claiming to be the estranged son of disgraced singer R. Kelly came forward.
They trying to compare R. Kelly with this guy here, P. Diddy, man. They said he's worse. If R. Kelly got 30 years, P. Diddy might be looking at 60.
That's what he needs, G. Them young girls.
Yeah.
So what? So what? They let you do it. So what? You ain't supposed to do it.
Yeah.
Now you ain't strong enough to back up of that young pussy. Then that's what the fuck you get.
Right.
All these older bitches that'll suck the shit, dirty shit come out your ass that you be fucking niggas in the ass. You know how many bitches that suck your dick after them niggas for $1 million?
Right. I'm trying to stay on the air. I'm trying to stay on the air. We don't have to clean that up a little bit there, partner.
Yeah. This shit is like bugged out.
Yeah, well, let's see what this dude talking about, man. Hold on. I'm gonna go on the porch, man. I gotta fix my phone.
Is a world far removed from the familiar comforts of ordinary life. An architectural marvel designed to impress, intimidate, and isolate. The initial experience was relatively innocent. He and several others, including King Combs's sister Jordan and a few close friends, gathered in the mansion's luxurious basement, equipped with a massive home theater system, plush seating, and endless video games. It appeared to be a typical teenage hangout. They played, joked, and immersed themselves in the one that would stay with the young witness for the rest of his life. The wrong door, a glimpse into the nightmare. At some point during the evening, the teenager wandered away from the group in search of a bathroom. Navigating the endless maze of hallways and doors, he inadvertently opened a door that would shatter his perception of the glamorous world he had entered. Inside, he discovered a scene both bizarre and deeply unsettling. Although he was too young at the time to fully grasp the implications, his older self now recognizes the disturbing tableau for what it was. A 50 Shades of Grey style setup, complete with sex toys, chains, bondage equipment, and a variety of other paraphernalia strewn about the room. The comment, seemingly casual, carried an unmistakable predatory undertone that left the young witness terrified and confused. Before he could process the situation further, another door down the hallway swung open. Emerging from it were Meek Mill, August Alsina, and Soulja Boy, three major celebrities, casually leaving what could only be described as a freak-off, the term now commonly used to describe the private. No limits parties reportedly held at Diddy's mansion. The teenager realized in that moment that he had stumbled into a world hidden from public view, where fame and wealth masked deeply troubling behaviors. The invitation to Taco Tuesday weeks. After that first encounter, the young man received a direct message from Diddy inviting him back to the mansion for a Taco Tuesday event. On the surface, the invitation seemed harmless, a casual gathering under the guise of friendship. Trusting the familiarity he had built with King Combs and the others, he initially saw no cause for alarm. However, a moment of prudence led him to reach out to King to confirm the gathering. King's response was immediate and disconcerting. He was in Miami at the time, far from Los Angeles. The realization hit hard. If King wasn't going to be there, why was Diddy still inviting him over? The implications were chilling. The seemingly innocent invitation took on a far more sinister tone, suggesting that Diddy's interest in the teenager may have been predatory in nature. Alarmed, the young man ultimately decided to attend but remained cautious, sensing that something was deeply wrong. The Red Room and hidden agendas. Upon arriving for Taco Tuesday, the atmosphere at the mansion felt markedly different. Gone was the casual, youthful energy of the earlier visit. In its place was a heavy, oppressive darkness that permeated the air. Despite King's absence, a gathering was still underway. Curious but wary, the young witness explored the mansion's upper levels, eventually finding himself in front of another closed door. This time, what lay behind it was even more disturbing than what he had seen before. Flipping on the light switch briefly, he found himself in a room bathed in red hues. The walls were painted in dark, rich tones, and soft bondage furniture was strategically placed throughout. Draped velvet cloths covered various surfaces, while mirrors lined the walls, clearly intended for voyeuristic purposes. Terrified, he quickly shut off the lights and closed the door, but not before being seen. Standing once again in the hallway was Diddy, waiting in eerie silence. The mogul's demeanor was calm but unsettling. Without overt threats, he employed a subtler form of grooming, psychological manipulation designed to normalize the perversion the teenager had witnessed. Diddy suggested, almost teasingly, that the young man must be interested because he had looked for too long. The comment was delivered with a predatory familiarity that made it clear this was no accidental encounter. The young man felt the walls closing in around him. The glitz and glamour had fallen away, replaced by a gut-wrenching realization. He was being targeted. Narrow escape and lingering.
Diddy was about to give him the baby oil treatment.
Be isolated or coerced, he found a way to extract himself from the situation and leave the mansion that night. Looking back now as an adult, he recognizes how close he came to becoming another victim of what he describes as a deeply predatory environment operating under the veneer of celebrity culture. He fears that many others, young, vulnerable, and less fortunate, may not have been as lucky. The allegations surrounding Diddy and his inner circle paint a horrifying picture of systemic abuse, manipulation, and exploitation hidden behind fame and wealth. For the witness, those brief, chilling moments inside Diddy's mansion were enough to reveal a side of the industry few dare to acknowledge, and even fewer survive to expose. Celebrity involvement and the industry's dark underbelly. The ongoing scandal surrounding Sean Diddy Combs has sent shockwaves through the entertainment world, with new testimonies painting an even darker picture of the celebrity elite. According to explosive first-hand accounts, Diddy was not operating alone. Prominent industry figures like Meek Mill, August Alsina, and Soulja Boy were allegedly not only present at the disturbing gatherings, but active participants in the events described. This testimony cuts through the carefully curated public images these celebrities project. In particular, Soulja Boy recently made public statements attempting to distance himself from Diddy, claiming, "He could never do me like that." However, as the witness bluntly pointed out, "You was there, though." This statement underscores a broader, more disturbing reality. Many celebrities who now seek to shield themselves from the fallout were, by some accounts, directly involved. As Diddy's empire faces potential collapse, those once connected to him appear to be scrambling to rewrite history, erase past associations, and salvage their public personas. The notion that this alleged culture of abuse and exploitation could be so deeply entrenched and so widely participated in sheds light on a side of the entertainment industry that has long been rumored but rarely exposed in such vivid detail. The internet reacts, division and support. The public reaction to these allegations has been swift and deeply divided. Across social media platforms, debates rage as new information comes to light. Many are questioning why witnesses are only now coming forward with these explosive claims, asking the natural but complex question, if all these things happened, why wasn't it reported long ago? On the other side, many others, well-versed in the ways powerful figures control narratives, are expressing support and sympathy for the victims and whistleblowers. They point out the real fear that victims and witnesses experience when attempting to take on entrenched, wealthy, and well-connected institutions. One defender noted, "She's been talking about this for years. She has a huge following. This isn't new." Indeed, figures like Allison Carter, one of the most vocal exposers of the alleged depravity within elite circles, have been sounding the alarm for a long time. Carter, among others, has endured years of ridicule, threats, shadow banning, and attempts to discredit her. Yet, she has remained unwavering in her commitment to bringing these allegations to light. The emergence of corroborating evidence is now causing many skeptics to reconsider. Reports that law enforcement recovered physical evidence, such as hidden rooms, secret underground tunnels, specialized equipment, and controlled substances, have strengthened the credibility of long-dismissed accusations. For years, whispers about freak-offs, hidden chambers, and secret parties circulated within the industry. Now, such rumors are beginning to take the shape of verifiable fact. Public opinion, long conditioned to accept sanitized celebrity images, is now beginning to fracture. The narrative is shifting away from isolated rumor toward the possibility of systemic exploitation at the highest levels of fame.
Which is crazy. Which is absolutely bonkers. Anyway, yo, Sam.
Yo.
Yeah, these dudes is wildin', man. You know what I mean? Your boy P. Diddy done got himself caught up in that bullshit, man. It's gonna be very, very hard to get out, man. You know what I mean? You might think he going home tomorrow, but I don't know. It ain't looking good for your boy, man. Your boy looking pretty bad. Cam, tell him what we.
I'm from 140th and Lenox. I'm from NFL. Up the block is 40 Wolves. Lou Simpson's on 142nd Cross Square. D. Ferg on number 8th Avenue. I don't see you around none of this. Not from none of that.
Go ahead and end the show, man, because as it stands, ain't too much. Let's see. Hold on.
Did you heard Trump said he gonna militarize the Afro-American communities?
9-to-5 job, and you maybe get 20 minutes for lunch.
I ain't hear that.
All the Afro-American communities. He's gonna militarize, like with the military. He's saying that black people is coming up to him telling him that they tired of being robbed and all this shit by the black people. That's what that nigga said.
That's great. That's it. I ain't heard that, man.
We gotta get out of here, man.
Yeah, that's a fact. All right, hold on. I'm gonna close down the show right quick, man. I'll come back because they don't got nothing going on right now, man. Ain't nobody coming. It's too early or something. Hold on, what time is it? 10:15. Probably about 12 o'clock lunchtime.
For the day, for lunch, on break, you cannot talk about this case. And what happens when you're on a jury is you kind of find a
Yeah, you gotta have.
bond
I gotta have your
with these
phone
people
on
you're
the
serving
charger with
because
this
you know
app.
the stakes are high. You know,
Yeah.
especially in a case, even if you're just doing like
This
a
shit
simple
suck up
case,
the minutes quick.
you're the stakes are high, and so in this case where things are at this level, this is a jury that's going to have to listen to so much information. They're going to have to process so many different elements. They're going to have to weigh his popularity. They're going to have to weigh his standing, not just in a business as a businessman, but his standing in culture, the culture of music, the culture of hip hop. So we know that the judge here has started the proceedings. That happened shortly after 9 o'clock. He's made a couple rulings on what the possibility of things that are going to be testified. The jury selection is going to be taking place over the next couple hours, days, maybe a couple days, because they got 150 people. They got to narrow it down to 12. I just wanted to add something here that. So those are the initial charges that came out. We have seen some superseding indictments over the last couple weeks, and those charges of sex trafficking and prostitution-related offenses included. The updated indictment actually expands the allegations of forced labor, now including employees who were allegedly manipulated or threatened into performing both labor and sexual acts. Prosecutors argue that Combs used his corporate entities Bad Boy Entertainment, Combs Enterprises, not only as cover for criminal acts, but also to directly enable abuse by assisting and assigning staff to assist in illicit activities, silence victims, and manage logistics for those freak-offs. I mean, has freak-offs become a word that we're all familiar with now? Did you think about that a year ago if you've been following this case? Now that word freak-offs is part of the pop culture dictionary. The RICO charge, that's count one. We went over it. Often that's what they use to take down mafia members and mafia enterprises. It's not always what they use for an individual like Diddy, but anyway, it now includes both sex workers and staff members as victims of the enterprise, with force and coercion used not only for sexual gratification, but also to secure loyalty and labor through intimidation. So a little that some of the initial charges expanded in that superseding indictment. So that's what we're taking a look at. The prosecution also asserts Combs confiscated phones, isolated people, and made threats to control personal assistants and other employees. It's a new layer of workplace abuse and coercive labor, further strengthens the government's case. That's what the prosecution says. The legal experts who've taken a look at it, that's kind of the way they feel, that he ran this and organized a criminal operation over many years using the resources and reach of his business. That's what the prosecution will say. The defense will say otherwise. And here we go. Here we go. Starting in the morning, Monday, 9:45. Yeah. By making the judge here, I'm just going to read this. We just got word of this because, again, when you're in federal court, you often don't have your phone with you. So sometimes what has to happen is you get the message, you have to relay it to someone who's outside who can then give that information, or maybe you got to run outside. So anyway, the judge started the proceedings shortly after 9. So they've been in court now for about an hour and 20 minutes, and they made several rulings on what things experts would be allowed to testify about when they take the stand. So in some cases, or I should say in a lot of cases, the jury and the prosecution and the defense, one side will object to what a potential witness is saying or might say. So the defense and the prosecution will have a sidebar with the judge. That sidebar is recorded on the record and will be a part of the record, the law, the actual what's being recorded on the case. But the jurors often don't get to hear what they're talking about because it may or may not be included. Then when both sides, they don't agree, but when both sides make their case, the judge will say sustained, overruled, or the individual has to now answer the questions as we just agreed. So that's what the judge is talking about there, that several rulings on what things experts would be allowed to testify about when they take the stand. So that's our first little update. It's a little update, not a big one, but that's sort of the first update that we got there. All right, 10:20 Monday morning, we are streaming on our YouTube channel.
So there's a big line for media to go in there.
Lower Manhattan.
For media.
The Diddy trial. Here we are. Imagine that. All right, so check back in with us later. We'll be tracking this throughout the rest of the day. You can check out all our updates on fox5ny.com, our YouTube page. I'm going to take my tie off and get.
Yeah. Everybody going to break, man. Hold on. Yeah, everybody going to break. So they said they was dealing with the jury since 9 o'clock. I've been on here since what time was it? 10. I've been on here since 8.
What, they're gonna decide everything right now?
Nah, they picking the jury. They picking the jury.
And then
and they telling the jury what they could hear and all that right now. So, you know, they figuring out how they gonna shaft the dude, you know.
Right.
Let's see how we gonna dig out his pockets right quick or something, you know. See how we could get into this P. Diddy money, you know what I mean? You're gonna have to need a couple of lawyers or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And you know they're gonna want astronomical prices because he's Diddy. So they gotta do him like that. Can't charge him like a regular person. Gotta charge him billions, gazillions, and trillions of dollars. You want your freedom back, right, Diddy? It'll cost you a pretty penny. It's gonna cost you your fortune and your fame. Are you willing to give it up? To get lit out? Time will tell. Here's a throwback from the brand knnows. track is messed up. That's what we got going on right now in the Diddy trial. They picking the juries and everybody's out for lunch, so we gonna do the same right about now. And now that you know that the HGM Brando knows is where you go to get the things that you need to know, I'm gonna go right ahead and close the show. And we'll be back later on. Don't worry about that. Follow, like, subscribe to the channel.
Digging in the scene, digging in the scene with the gangster lean and and we ain't coming down. See on my face that smile. See on my head that crown. I'm on top of the world, top of the town, baby.
I moved up the hood that had the church on the corner where I sit and talk shit all day cause I wanna. And on top of that, wasn't none of y'all gonna do nothing but keep running your mouth and keep frontin'. Go ahead and say something. I'll wait. I ain't gonna wait too late, cause in a minute I'm escape. Cause there is no debate. No, it's not an option. You gotta keep the cop watch.
Sun rooftop, digging in the scene with the gangster lean.